lapel pin before I put them away?
We're good.
Oh. Pen.
No, thanks.
We're good, okay.
So, where's my challenge coin?
That's finance.
One for our
What
children.
you purchased in the office?
And I don't, I just say John.
You guys do in-kind contributions?
In kind.
Do not see the chocolate sitting at
Really
your
like
seat.
income tax after
if I had to
tax
pay for the
season, you would do a report.
Okay, do an
Do
update.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Their weather
Receipts and all that. He also
We're not
put in the graphs. I
talking
have
about
to give access to the graphs.
We're not talking
I do
about
have access to this file. Some of the stuff I've had trouble
You're
finding.
ignoring.
But,
as
okay,
much as
so
possible
income
and
tax.
absolutely necessary.
It's really did that and stuff like that, right?
Like I said,
Well, they've got everything in, and I think,
We're almost there.
It
is true. Time flies when you're having fun.
did he do it at a council
Well,
meeting or he did it?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right now, Thursday.
Yeah, now it's nothing till just Friday.
And I think you have
Sunday.
So I'm hoping
expenses,
maybe
and he did a comparable over the past, I think 5 or 10 years or something.
If the weather reports from Fort Wayne.
I would have said how cute you look.
Fine is, if you ask.
Yeah,
CKLW.
yep, I will.
The guy on CKLW was coming, oh, it's going to be basically raining.
Never been there, but okay.
Job now. Perfect job. You got
Yeah,
perfect
it's a
job. You get
That's
paid
right,
for
my
it.
money.
So the clouds shifted.
Now,
Oh my
Flo
God.
gave me money.
Yeah, it was gonna rain, the
That
clouds
type
went
of-
away.
And I ain't
My God,
missing
it's gonna be a
mine.
nice day.
But we
I don't know what, I don't know what they,
Comparable too.
well, school funding is the same as this.
Yeah,
so
right.
They're not state funded, so
I like taking this stuff and showing
Yeah, I
my
don't
father-in-law. I'm so
I
jealous
think
he
they have
doesn't have
funding,
it.
So what do you know?
you know, college. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, let
constantly.
me get with Lori and see where they're at. I mean, I know they have everything in, but
We're getting it underway in about 30 seconds.
yeah, nope, sounds good.
I owe you some zots. Well, I took one, and then John came in and I started my swallowed a zot. Like, went right down my throat.
This is for the kids.
Yeah, you're not sitting under a flag.
Well, he's got 2 now. I'll give him to my 4 minutes. She's not spoiled enough. Because we talked about this.
She'll be 21 years old.
Getting underway. She's
Rick's sister's one is
So much.
Says things that should have around, so we're picking up.
All right, we're getting underway in 10, 9,
Two, 1.
Yeah, they do.
Good evening and welcome to the Defiance City Council meeting for this evening, April 25th, 2023. Before we get underway, Councilman Steve Corbett will be opening us up with prayer.
Thank you, sir. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we're just grateful for this day you blessed us with, God, for this city we call home. And God, as we get ready to celebrate 200 years of existence, we just thank you for the blessings you've given us all over the years. And we look forward to the future. And God, we just thank you for that and what's going to happen. We pray now as we get ready to conduct the city's business that you just give us wisdom. And God, all we do here tonight in our speech and our manners honors you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. This meeting is now called to order. Let the record show that all members of council are present this evening. Would you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we get underway this evening, we have a special guest. Kirsty Mack, Executive Director of the DDVB, is here to chat with us this evening. Thanks for being our guest.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having me again. To be very acquainted with you all as we are right upon the bicentennial events coming up here this Friday. Hopefully you are all aware of those at this point. If not, we have not been doing a good job of promoting. So hopefully everybody knows. I have 4 little groupings of information for you. After each one, we'll ask if there are any questions about that section. And then obviously at any point in time, if you all have any questions, please interrupt me. I have been doing a lot of talking lately, so I'd rather answer your questions and listen to myself talk. So, first off, just a reminder of the list of events. Again, all of these are on this upcoming Friday, April 28th. It begins at 10 a.m. at the community auditorium for a program of presentations. So this is where it's more of a sit-down, formal event where there are quite a few dignitaries in tow. Doing some presentations. We will hear from Mr. Mayor as well as Richard Rosevink on the history of Defiance and many, many other great presenters. And again, that is at the community auditorium. From there, we will transition to Triangle Park as Friday is also Arbor Day. So we'll be planting a tree in honor of Arbor Day, and that is in conjunction with Governor DeWine's office and the mayor and the city of Defiance. So there's been a lot of partnerships on getting this tree planted. You wouldn't think that planting a tree would take so much logistics, but it really does. Lots of things have gone into this planting. So we're excited about that. So again, that's at 11:30 immediately after that morning presentation at Triangle Park. And then at 6 o'clock is the birthday party where we will be doing the time capsule presentation. And then you have your typical birthday party events. Cake, ice cream, and of course fireworks. If you don't have fireworks for your birthday party, pretty sure you're not doing it right. So we wanted to make sure we do it right for the city of Defiance. So fireworks will be from the same location as they are for the 4th of July. So that back part of Kingsbury Park. They're going to be a very nice, but a shorter show than what you would expect for the 4th of July. So all really pretty red, white, and blue, just a great way to kick off the bicentennial year. That is all happening at the Defiance Public Library grounds at 6 o'clock. So there will be a presentation of the time capsule to start. The Northwestern Airs will be performing, as well as Ned Clark and his jazz band will be performing as well. And then food items from Rusty Taco and Jacob's Meats will be down there for purchase. While down there, at the library, that will be your opportunity to purchase or pick up any of your bicentennial commemorative giveaways. There is a large amount of free ones, but then also the more commemorative items. We have a plate coming. Those are extremely limited edition. We only have 144 of them. They are very well made. We're very, very excited to present these to the community. The first sighting of them will also be on Friday. So nobody has seen them just yet, other than a very, very select few of us. So we're pretty excited to present those to everybody as well. All of these events are free and open to the public. I know all of you received invitations to the morning, but we wanted to be sure that there were a large group of people who received direct invitations, but this is all free and open to the public. No reservation needed to attend any of those pieces as well. Does anybody have any questions on that? All right. So just to reiterate some of the items that we have available as commemorative items, t-shirts, all the way up from t-shirts to sweatshirts, etc., are all available online through the online link through Higby Embroidery. In addition to those, we also have baseball hats and stocking hats. We have a very limited supply available in the DDVB office, but if you want specialty items or specialty sizes, I would encourage you to go to that link and order there, especially youth sizes. We do not have any youth sizes in the office, so if you really want to make sure you get what you want, I would order through that link. It is open through May 14th. After that, that will close. Higby's will do all the orders for that, and then later on, near 4th of July, we will open up a brand new store. So there will be a couple of different online stores throughout the year that will open, just to make sure everybody has the opportunity to purchase the items if they would like. We also have coffee mugs and tumblers in the DDVB office or at Eclectic Wallflower Boutique in downtown Defiance. We have challenge coins. Those are only available in the DDVB office. And then again, we have many, many more giveaway items available just as a pickup. You want to pick up stickers or waterless tattoos. Didn't know that was a thing till just now, but we're figuring out all sorts of fun things. So we have those, chapsticks. We do still have calendars available. So any of those kinds of things, if anybody wants to stop by and pick those up, either Friday evening or at the DDVB all year long. Any questions on that? Yes.
Do you accept cash, Venmo?
All the things.
Okay.
All the things, yes. So cash, check, or credit or debit card in the DDVB office. We are also set up PayPal and Venmo. And all that information, we can either email that or it can be found on, I believe it's up on the website now. Venmo, I do know, is up on the City of Defiance Bicentennial Facebook page. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Okay. Wanted to quickly give you an update on the lilac planting project so that you are all aware where we're at on that. As a reminder, that's a planting of 200 lilacs throughout the city this year. Right now, there are about 120 little white flags all the way around the City of Defiance. So you're at any of the public areas such as the parklands especially. If you see little white flags, that is where a lilac is going to be planted. Obviously, weather dependent at this point. Apparently it's gonna get cold again. So waiting until the right time to get those planted. Those 120 will be done this spring. The other 80 will be done this fall. So just a reminder of that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, weather will break and we can start getting some of those lilacs planted, fingers crossed. Any questions on the lilac project? Okay. And then a really quick fundraising update. Our corporate fundraising level, we had a goal of $100,000, and I'm very happy to announce we reached that goal. We are at about $102,000 right now, with still a few conversations going on with some interested individuals. So that was an amazing goal to reach before the bicentennial birthday, like the kickoff event, but then obviously all year long, we're gonna be doing a bunch of other things and then looking at what we're going to do as wrap-up events near the end of the year as well. So these corporate sponsors, as well as all of the smaller sponsors, are getting a lot of attention throughout the entire year. The Bicentennial Community Wall has raised just over $6,000 at this point. Still have quite a few numbers available, so if anybody is interested, stop into the DDVB and pick out a number, see what you might be interested in to help support that. And that's been a lot of fun. Seeing people stop into our office and talk about the bicentennial and what some of these funds are going to be used for has really, I think, created a sense of community pride and wanting to be a part of the bicentennial celebrations. So, any questions on fundraising? Okay, so I know you guys are sad, but I will be back at some point, probably 2 or 3 times this year, to update you on a few other projects that the Bicentennial Committee is working on. One large project in addition to the lilac planting project, which I really hope to get to announce to you maybe by July. We want to get a couple things going before we can actually announce it to you all as to what we're doing, so we're excited about that. And then all of the other annual events throughout the year, starting with Chocolate Walk, we have, as you all saw, the Bicentennial chocolates. We have Chocolate Walk special Bicentennial chocolates. So those attending the Chocolate Walk this Thursday will get the first taste, pun intended, on that, as well as every other event throughout the year. Lilac Festival, Balloon Fest, Music on the Mommy through the Strady Center. I mean, we are making sure that everything has some sort of bicentennial celebration tied to it. So stay tuned and hope to see you all on Friday at some point. Any questions for me?
Questions? Thank you for the update.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much.
Wonderful effort, Kirsten.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I reviewed the index minutes from our council meeting of April 11th, 2023. Does anyone have a motion to correct or amend the index minutes as they are presented? If not, I will approve them. And do we have any liaison meeting requests or reports? Do we have any comments from council? Mr. Hancock.
I received a suggestion for from one of our one of my constituents of having a what's considered a no mow May with no fines for grass to encourage bees, butterflies, and other forms of pollination. Something to consider. I just wanted to point that out to see if it was even possible for that to occur. But
Are you suggesting that for 2024?
possibly, yes. I think we're a little short on 23 right now. So.
I believe so. I heard of that too, Mr. Hancock.
I know there's some municipalities that are already currently doing that.
I will tell you, I would never consider that for any city property if we didn't mow during the month of May, or during the month of May, the month of July, month of June and July, our parks would look horrible. I can't imagine going to our Memorial Day service at Riverside Cemetery having not yet mowed, so, no, yeah. But I did hear about that too.
That's all.
That's it? Any other comments from council? All right. I have nothing on my desk this evening. Mayor McCann.
Just one thing, and Mr. Rusty, certainly jump in here because you were a big participant in our spay neuter clinic last week, which I don't know how you describe it other than it was a huge success in my opinion. Would you agree?
Yeah.
We,
I couldn't believe it.
we put out basically all 100 traps. In fact, we put them out so quickly that in the end, we didn't have enough left for some of the areas that the Humane Society had targeted. We got a few out in those target areas, but probably not as many as we wanted. But in the end, the initial report was 79 cats, but then after they audited their numbers, we made it to 80. And that was probably double, I think, what Lisa's goal was. So huge success. For the most parts, the cats that were spayed or neutered, not spayed or neutered, were reasonably healthy. So there was the request to administer an antibiotic, but very few cats were given an antibiotic. One had a little dental work done, and another one had a sore on, I believe it was a hip. But beyond that, it was just typical spay neuter. And good success. I'm looking forward to I don't want to zoom summer by too quickly, but I'm looking forward to the one in September. Anything to add, Joe?
My wife's the same way. We're looking forward to the next event. You know, what's really interesting is you're standing there and you're looking at all those 80 cats that are there and you know, if we didn't do something to help them, we didn't put the resources out there, what would happen to those 80 cats plus, the ones that we missed? And I mean, it was just amazing the care they received. Everyone had a certificate of, for the people that brought the cats in, they received a certificate of everything that was done to that cat. And they couldn't believe it, you know, that but it was very well organized and very well done. And I think one of the big things is they were surprised that some people I talked to, that the mayor was out there for the extended time he was out there in the cold. And because would you have an allergy?
Well, I am allergic to cats, so I stayed outside. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been.
He was outside most of it, but that was good that you were there.
I don't care, and I don't think Mrs. Sprague cares, and I'm pretty sure council doesn't. We're gonna be over budget on this. We budgeted $15,000. We spent the initial $5,000 as planned, for the most part, on the traps themselves. But the bill for this service, because of the large number of cats, was a little over 6,000, Kim. So we're already at 11, and that leaves a balance of 4. We will, I'm sure, exceed that in September. But again, I don't think we care because we see the value of this effort. There was somebody there from the U.S. Humane Society, young fella, that talked about where this has been done in other communities over a period of time, 3-4 years, what a huge effect it's had on the feral cat issues. So stay tuned. We'll see where it takes us.
One last thing on this also is that, truck or whatever, this is the first time they were in Northwest Ohio. They had normally only been in the eastern side of Ohio, and they were surprised.
Rascal unit, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all I have, sir.
Well, that sounds like a bunch of good news. Well, thank you. Mr. Mack?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. I have actually a couple things I wanted to update council on. The first of which was, I got a couple phone calls last week. I got a couple referrals from members of council about concerned citizens. They had some type of city project done around their property in the right of way where the seating hadn't been redone, things had settled. I talked to all of those people and I wanted to reinforce to you, we had 2 projects specifically in the city last year that were kind of late getting finished. The contractors didn't seed, so they will be back in the next couple of weeks to get that reseeding taken care of, just like Kirsty said with the lilacs, weather dependent. But those are hanging out there. We had one of the sidewalk tree program where we take down trees that are causing problems for the sidewalk. None of those got reseeded properly yet, so they're kind of scattered all around the city. But again, in the next couple of weeks, those will be getting taken care of. So I wanted to make sure you were all aware of that and that the public was aware of that. The second one was I talked to the engineer, and the sidewalk maintenance program will begin probably in the next month or so, again, with things weather dependent. So if you remember correctly, as we talked last year, there were really 4 main points to a sidewalk program that we were looking at. This is one of those main points where we're going to be sending out engineering techs to survey an area and its sidewalks, mark the deficiencies, and then we will contact the owners and let them know that we've uncovered these issues with their sidewalk area, and they have a year to remediate the problem. If they don't, then we would likely be the ones that have to go in and fix that, and then return that cost to the property owner itself. So again, the engineer will be sending out her engineering techs within the next month or so, looking in the Laddies Grove area around Wayne. And so stay tuned for that, and we'll hopefully see that progress in the future if it's what we want to continue.
I got some sidewalks down on Wayne that they painted or marked last year and they've never done anything with.
So those sidewalks,
That were created by trees.
okay. I'll have to check those on the tree list, but it'll definitely be covered either on the tree list or again on this maintenance
I'm just saying
program.
they were marked
continues.
last year,
Okay.
but never happened.
I
I'll
think,
look into
Mr.
those.
Waxler, things that were marked last year were in preparation for this year.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and we're marking
Because they
now for
finally did
next.
the
Right.
Jefferson backside,
Yep.
but they haven't done the Wayne side yet, so, okay.
Okay. And then lastly, I need to request an executive session under 121.22 G1 to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee.
We have a request for an executive session. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Mast.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hancock. All those in favor of?
Mr.
Sorry.
Bingo,
I do it every time.
Yes.
sorry. Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Rusty?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
And Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
All right. Before we adjourn for the evening, we'll have an executive session.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all.
That's it.
At this time.
Mr. O'Donnell
Mr. President, I have nothing at this time.
and Ms. Sprague.
Just a couple of things. I have 2 purchase orders. The one is number 2023-00925, Russell Standard Corporation for the crack seal program of 23,461.42. And the other one is 2023-00947, National Oil and Gas Fuel, 19,380.25. I'm sorry, 19,055.70. And then just wanted to let you know, the auditors are still in working diligently, so it's been quiet, which I always think is a good sign, knock on wood. But they're all super friendly and helpful and some familiar faces from being at the school, so it's good. That's all I have.
Oh, thank you. We do have 2 items of legislation for consideration this evening. Would you read the caption for the first?
Second reading by caption only, an ordinance vacating the right-of-way between lot 6 and part of lot 1 and 2 in Hogate's addition to the city of Defiance.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is between 129 and 139 East Sessions Avenue. It's right now it's a platted right-of-way. And as the clerk indicated, this is the second of 3 required readings. The parties have executed a mutual easement agreement, or commonly referred to as a shared drive agreement, which was a condition for the Planning Commission's recommendation. I have that right here. And since it's the second of 3 required readings, I would recommend a motion to let consideration of this matter lie, so that council can take up the matter again on May 2nd.
Do we have any questions in these regards? Mr. Corbett?
Motion to let lie.
Oh, we have a motion let lie. Second, Mr. Waxler. All in favor of letting this issue lie until we meet again, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We'll be back first week of May on this one.
First reading by caption only, an ordinance amending section 151.04 of the codified ordinances of the city of Defiance, Ohio.
Mr. Mack?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So there seemed to be some confusion among my division heads on the proper procedures for handling disposal of equipment through GovDeal auctions. With the help of the law director, and once we really dug into it, we found that according to the ordinance, we are required to bring a new ordinance to council every time we assume something will go over $4,000, or we would estimate it over $4,000. Obviously, with online auctioning, this is a really hard judgment call to make sometimes. So we are asking you to amend ordinance 151.04 to allow the Board of Control to approve these items on GovDeals. So alleviate some of the confusion and kind of streamline the process so we can get rid of some of these items. This would only affect personal property, like old pumps from some of the different divisions, cars, old parks equipment, actual physical objects like that. This would not affect the sale of real estate or anything in that nature. That would still obviously require council's approval.
But we'd still be advised of this.
I can advise you if there's a threshold you wanna see. I mean, we sell things on GovDeals sometimes that are
Yeah, I know.
very, very minuscule, all the way up to a car that may get more money. We try to sell what we can as opposed to throwing things away, as opposed to anything like that. I mean, there's always a desire to get out there. So if you, in the future, wanted to look at a threshold to be advised on, then that's fine. But it's hard to advise you before because, again, it goes back to we don't know what we're gonna get on those online
No,
auctions.
I wasn't asking that so much as if you sell something, where's that logged, or who controls that?
Who controls a log of it? It's all handled through the police department, and actually, Alex Nathan keeps all of the records of the things we're selling. He's actually the one that kind of brought up some of these issues because.
That's my point, so
yeah,
you can always go see what was sold if you
Correct.
want to.
Yep, that's no problem.
It does come to Board of Control for approval, Mr. Wax.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it will be in the Board of
What-
Control minutes.
I
Yeah.
think what we're asking here is that since we don't know what an item's gonna sell for, a pump, for example, maybe we think it's gonna sell for 2, but it sells for 5,000.
Yeah.
Technically, we should have gotten your permission on that. We're just asking.
I got all that, I get that, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Mr. Hancock?
I guess I'm following through with that is a notification of placing it on GovDeals. Do we need to, is that also recorded in
Board of Control minutes.
minutes of what items are?
Correct.
They're not a PO per se, they're just basically an item that's listed in the Board of Control minutes and then it goes to GovDeals. Is there fees with GovDeals as well?
I'm not sure what
I
the
don't
fees
believe
Paid
are.
for by the buyer.
Yeah,
By the buyer?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
Is that right,
like an
Kim?
upcharge?
that's all right.
You don't
Okay.
pay for it, whoever's buying it
Yeah.
does.
Correct.
Mr. Waxler?
No firm. Questions, most suspending call.
We have a motion to suspend and call. Second, Mr. Mast.
Mr. Rusty?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
And Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Mast. Second, Mr. Corbett.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
And Mr. Rusty?
Yes.
With that, this ordinance is adopted. Do we have any citizens' concerns before we move on to executive session? If there is none, we can stretch our legs for a moment before we enter executive session.